Hello everyone, my name is Ren Kanazuki, and I'm streaming back to you today from the far, far, far future to connect to all of you from the 21st century, let you know a little bit about what I'm about, and learn a little bit about what you are all about. I get sleepy when it comes to long stories, but I've come up with a little debut video to show off all my amazing, far, far past knowledge and tell each of you a little bit about what my story is like. Well, I'll swap over to that right now and we'll get started with that. The Middle Ages. A time of adventure. The days when kings rose and struggled for power. A time of strife and schism. A time of danger and disaster. A time of crisis and crusade. The early modern era. A time of discovery and trade. Advances in travel led to the exchange of ideas and goods, but also of disease and brutal conquest. Technological and social changes shifted human society in ways no one could have predicted. The Victorian era, a time of globe-spanning empires, the start of industrialization and globalization, and also a time of revolts and revolutions. The 20th century, a time of incredible technological and industrial growth. A time that would lead humanity forward into the information age. But also an era full of events that would live on in infamy. The Space Age. Facing many troubles and tribulations, humanity reached out to the stars. They began to advance toward a future beyond war and destruction. By inventing giant robots. Okay, so there was still some war, but soon humanity discovered that putting random teenagers in the cockpit could end war, as well as just about every other problem the world faced. Then vast factories were built to produce the mechas driving humanity's progress, with robots like me built to assemble and maintain them. With the Earth's future assured, and human strife at an end, humanity was able to reach the hyperspace era, and much of the population departed for the stars. They brought the space-capable mechs with them, of course, but not so portable factory bots like myself were left to watch over their home planet and the few who stayed behind. Just a few remaining humans, some outdated robots and AIs with plenty of free time, and all of the fantastical technologies they left behind for us. It's a lonely time, with not many humans left in this particular sector. You'd think there'd be plenty of data to read, but it seems like a defective Mega Galleon stepped on the nearest data center a few cycles back and put a 30-meter footprint in the archival area. Apparently, the only Ultravision programming that survived that disaster was the last 300 seasons of The Simpsons. And I've gotta say, it really went downhill after 100,000 episodes or so. On top of that, the historical data archives got smashed up good, along with part of my long-term memory. So it's been rough times in this end of the Megadome. However, by connecting this old Ultranet hypermodem up to a few things I found gathering dust, I've discovered a way to stream my consciousness back through time, accessing the internet of the distant past. This way, not only do I have plenty of humans to communicate with, but I can indulge my own personal interest in human history. So, to anyone watching this in the 21st century, nice to meet you. My name is Ren Kanazuki, and I hope to get to know you all. Well, nice to meet you, everyone. And yes, that is an excellent office. There's like 10 of those. They're everywhere. Down the hall, up the stairs, in the sub-basement. Somebody loved that design. I don't know which spaceship they're on now, but man, they left behind some killer architecture. So as you can see, I'm kind of a nerd for history, even with my database a little messed up the way it is. I hope I can learn plenty about the 21st century and all those older centuries that came before that, whatever numbers those are. But talking with and interacting with all of you in the premier historical medium of this era, video games. And yeah, real estate is pretty easy to get, but touring for it, well, it can get a bit quiet. No one to show you around, you know? As you can see, I'm going to be playing a lot of grand strategy games, Paradox games, but other games as well. Things like Total War, other strategy games, and some of those really nerdy, really ancient games that most people in their right mind never play, like Rule of the Waves, or maybe even like Gary Grigsby's War in the East or something like that. I don't know. I don't have enough CPU power to get my head around that interface. Not my computer and not my head up here. I'll also be playing sandboxy building games and things like Factorio and Kerbal Space Program. As you can see, Kerbal Space Program is one of my absolute favorites. I've got so many hours logged in that. So many mods. I just love space. It didn't take me long, but maybe one day I'll make my way up there. Until then, they can watch the skies. I'll watch the ground. When it comes to other media, I'm a big fan of anime, of course. You saw some Gundam in there. I'm big on Gundam. I really enjoy mecha shows in general. Things like Gundam, Evangelion, and all sorts of weird stuff, sci-fi stuff. No list would be complete without Legend of Galactic Heroes. Watched it so many times and can never stop watching it. And I'm also really into magical girl stuff, actually. It's not just all about the nitty-gritty sci-fi. As it turns out, once the future got through the nitty-gritty stuff, we realized it's better if everything is cute. Everything. Unless, of course, people don't want to be cute. But I want to be cute. So this is how I decorate. And aside from playing video games on stream, I'll probably talk randomly about historical stuff and interesting history anecdotes. I like just seeing the weird stuff and the long path everything takes to get to where it got to today. That's why I'm so fascinated by the pre-mecha era. Other than that, I will also be showing off my futuristic technological skills with some programming, some coding, and finding ways to code up interesting stuff that can engage people or fascinate people in some way or another. And I do actually have something to show off on that front, to give you a demo of the kinds of things I'll be able to do. We'll swap over to where I've been actually writing a Game Boy code, one of the most famous and most groundbreaking video game consoles of the 20th century. And I fire it up. And here we go. I made my own little introduction right here in the Game Boy. It's not very dynamic, but I'll tap away, press a button, press another button, and press another button. Honestly, it's not very dynamic, but assembly is fun to write in and it's a good learning experience, but it takes a lot of time to get anything really functional out of it. But this just goes to show that if I get something in mind, I certainly can do it. As it says here, I'm Ren Kanazuki, a Mecha Factory robot. I do history, building games, strategy games, sci-fi games, and programming games. And just programming in general, of course. I'd just really like to say, nice to meet you, everyone. I can't wait to get to know you all, make some friends, surround myself with the humans of the 21st century, learn, enjoy, play, have fun. I don't have too much else for this particular stream. I will probably be doing a gaming stream later on tonight. Let's say about 5 hours from now. But until then, I don't have too much more to introduce about myself, and I don't want to drag this on too much. Does anyone have any questions or anything they'd like to say or share or anything they're interested in? It's okay if the answer is no. You've just met me, and I've just met you, and this is just the beginning. I hope it'll be the beginning of a long, enjoyable time. Yeah, I do plan to come up with something about programming on stream. It's a little difficult because honestly I'm kind of a perfectionist. So whenever I'm programming stuff, I'm just thinking to myself, I can't show this to anybody until it's a lot closer to done. I gotta get this to a shape where I can feel pride in it. But at some point I'm gonna get over that a little bit and show people my programming process, chat with people while programming, and let everyone see exactly how much hyperGOOL is part of my programming process. You know, that's kind of what it's like being a programmer in general, I guess. It's not something I should feel so concerned about. You know, I want to put on a good show for the humans. I want to really impress them. I'm sure a lot of us can relate, even with your flesh bodies and your brains that aren't made of metal. I do also intend to work on things like game modding and trying to find ways to use my programming skills to add a little extra to the games I play on stream. Create unique experiences. There was actually a little peek of that in the demo video, in the promo video that I did actually. If you had a close eye on the Crusader King segment, You might have seen that those armies were being led by Queen Subaru of Shubaland. It's not a big mod, just a few country name swaps and a few ruler name swaps and a few portrait swaps. You saw the duck, I hope. But it's just the beginning. I'm really looking at ways that I can add a little more to the games that I play as much as possible, and share that both with the viewers and with other streamers who I interact with. Because if I'm going to go through the trouble of programming some kind of add-on for a game, there's no point in that being just for 1 or 2 streams. I'm going to share that however I can. Alright. I think that's all I've got for right now. It's very nice to meet you all. I'll be coming back in about 5 hours, 9:30 EST, or that's 6:30 PST, I believe, for a little bit of gaming. Thank you all, and see you tonight.